Today's story is based on a paranormal love story with reasonable plot twists that you possibly cannot predict. It is based on true life events, although a more remastered version. It tells the story about death and reincarnation and the possibilities involved. If this is of interest to you, then consider liking and sticking to the end to get the full details of the story. By the way, welcome to Story Sphere in conjunction with the Wraithwood Tales and its storytime, so stick around and grab your popcorn. We tell stories on both true and fictional events, imitating real-life stories, and transforming them for your ultimate satisfaction and entertainment. You can share your story suggestions or original scary stories, true or fictional, to our email address, storesphere07@gmail.com. Thank you, and let's get into today's story. There was a guy named Daniel. He used to date this girl a few years ago. Her name was Amanda. She was 5 feet tall, beautiful with sexy eyes. They first met at a friend's reunion party, where she was invited by one of the attendees. He saw her sitting alone, and he was struck by her beauty, and after a few minutes of admiring her, he couldn't help but to approach her. He gently walked up to her, gave her a compliment. He started up an interesting conversation. They talked and things took a romantic turn. They started hanging out, and everything seems pretty good. Fast forward to a few months after they first met, they were so romantically in love that they were planning on getting engaged. They started making engagement plans, and everything was going smoothly until a few days to the day of their engagement. Daniel was sitting at home, watching the TV, because he got off from work that day, so he decided to relax for a while. Earlier that day, he had told Amanda that they should have some private time watching movies together, but she said that she was very busy with work, and she will not be able to make it that week. As he sat down watching the TV, feeling relaxed, he got a call from his girlfriend's number. Thinking it was his girlfriend, he picked the call, to hear what she probably wants to tell him, but the person on the phone was not his girlfriend. It was a random person informing him that his girlfriend was involved in a car accident few minutes ago, and that she was rushed to a nearby hospital. At first he thought it was a joke or a prank, that his girlfriend was trying to play on him, but he soon realized that it was not, and dread stepped in. He was given the address to the hospital by the random man that called him using his girlfriend's phone. It turns out that he was the last person that she called, a few minutes before the car accident had happened. Daniel was so shocked by this devastating call. He grabbed his car keys, rushed to his car, grabbed the door handle, pulled it in desperation, plopped into the seat, rushing full of adrenaline, as he drove speedily to the hospital. On his way to the hospital, several negative thoughts ran through his mind, and he was so scared of losing her, because she meant a lot to him. After a few minutes of driving, he got to the hospital, and was directed to the ward that she was in. He got into the ward, but she was clearly unconscious. The doctor called him to his office a few minutes later, and told him about the condition of his girlfriend, stating that she was in a very critical condition, with few chances of making it alive. Daniel was completely heartbroken and devastated. He asked if he could be allowed into her ward. They allowed him for a few minutes. He grabbed her hand, squeezing it gently but tight. He confessed his love to her and told her how she was very close to his heart. He knew that she couldn't hear him, but he knew that she could feel his presence and his touching words even in her unconscious state. He left the ward, after he had finished expressing his deep love to her, still waiting in the hospital. About an hour later, the doctor called Daniel to his office. He could tell from the look on the doctor's face that it was clearly bad news, and he confirmed it. "We tried all that we could, but we lost her. You just have to take heart," the doctor said calmly to him. The doctor could feel his agony, but not as compared to how Daniel was feeling at that moment. Daniel was completely speechless, but he took it like a man, even though it was a very tough and heartbreaking moment of his life. Just a few days to engagement, and this sudden tragedy had ruined everything. But he was determined to not get overwhelmed with the situation, although it was not that easy for him. A quick one. This video is sponsored by Gruns, and Gruns basically help in filling your nutrition gaps, giving you better nutrition tips and recommendations that will unlock your vibrant health and vitality. Go check them out and you won't regret it. Let's get back to the story. Few months have passed, and Daniel is still trying to move on with everything that has happened. He had to relocate and move out from their previous house in order to avoid past memories that would affect his mental recovery and healing process. After relocating to his new house, things have been going fine, and he has been making some good progress in his mental recovery. He was beginning to heal mentally. Fast forward to a few months staying at his new house, he noticed something quite strange but normal. There was this girl that was into Daniel. She was just too nice to him. Although at first, he thought that she was just being nice. After all, they are people that are like that. But he later discovered that she was really into him. She was really into him, that she brought food for him every day, she would clean his house, and sometimes she would wash his dirty clothes. Daniel resisted at first, stating that she did not have to do anything, but he later agreed, since she insisted that she was just trying to help and nothing more. After a few months of her daily nice attitude to him, he noticed something. He noticed that he had actually started falling for her, he had begun to like her. Although he didn't make any move initially, but he greatly enjoyed her company, to the point that he always loved to see her around, she was fun to be around with, and he was fully moving on. After some time, he decided to ask her out. On this fateful day, she came to his house as usual. They spent time talking about the things they cared for, they loved and hated, they also talked about their past traumas and a lot more. As she was about leaving, he told her that he wanted to tell her something very special. She looked nervous at first, but he poured out his heart, and told her that he loved the way she made him feel, and he also enjoyed her company a lot, and how she had helped in overcoming his past traumas. She smiled, feeling relieved and happy, and she told him that she also enjoyed his company as well. He finally asked her to be his girlfriend, which she agreed immediately without refusing, confirming his observations. They fixed a date for their first outing, and after that, they officially started dating. It was heart-pleasing for the both of them, and Daniel was very pleased with himself after a long time, since the tragic death of his previous girlfriend. Daniel was doing fine with his new girlfriend. But he soon finds out something. He had been dating this girl for a while, but whenever he tried being romantic with her, she declines. She will make up several excuses. At first, Daniel was cool with it, but later on, Daniel began feeling suspicious and he began to imagine what could be wrong. He began thinking about what could be the possible reasons why she had always been avoiding any form of romantic activity between them since they started dating. After thinking back and forth, Daniel decided to tell one of his close friends about what he had noticed about his new girlfriend. He called his close friend, whose name was Ethan, and told him to come to his place for a brief conversation. The friend decided to come to Daniel's house the next day when Daniel's girlfriend is not around. Fast forward to the next day, his close friend Ethan showed up as planned as they began their conversation. Daniel talked about how his new girlfriend had been avoiding any form of romantic activity between them, although she always said that she loved him so much. Daniel told Ethan how he had met this girl, she was just so nice to him, she made him happy, he asked her out, she agreed, and a lot more. After telling Ethan everything, Ethan told him that probably his girlfriend was a virgin and that she is probably not planning to lose her virginity anytime soon, maybe till marriage, which is possible because some people have such religious beliefs. He also told Daniel that he should have a deep conversation with her and that he should properly understand her reasons for avoiding any romantic activities between them. He also told him to ask her if she is a virgin, but that he should also not force her to do anything beyond her wish. Daniel, after listening to Ethan's words, he decided to act on them. The next day he called his girlfriend for a brief conversation. And as they were talking, he asked her why she had been avoiding any romantic activity between them even though they were dating. But she was completely silent and not ready for the conversation. Daniel took a deep breath and after a while he finally asked her the question that Ethan had told him to ask her. "Are you a virgin?" Daniel asked, waiting for answers. She was silent for a while before she finally replied, "No, I am not." Daniel, who was feeling a bit confused at that point, decided to ask her another question. "Then why have you been avoiding any romantic activity between us?" Daniel asked. As usual, she was speechless for a while, and one could sense the tension in the room before she finally decided to speak. "I truly love you, but I can't, you won't understand." Daniel replied saying, "Let me understand what's going on right now. I really need to understand what's wrong, what's going on, what is the problem. I don't think I can do this anymore, I don't think I can continue this anymore." Daniel continues talking in frustration. She said that, if she chose to agree to his wishes, that it would be her last time seeing him again, but Daniel is lost and frustrated that he doesn't want to listen to her. She also said that, if she explained herself to him, that it would also be her last time seeing him again. Daniel was confused, but his brain still couldn't process what she was saying because it looked as if she was completely talking out of her mind. Then she finally said to Daniel, "I love you." Then she stood up and walked slowly in a straight line to the kitchen. About 30 seconds later, Daniel heard his late girlfriend's voice calling his name from the kitchen. He was very scared that his soul almost jumped out of his body. He tried to move, but his body was so stiff that they couldn't move no matter how hard he tried. She told him that after the accident she decided to come back into his life because she never wanted to leave him. She explained further that after she died, she had to take on another body and find him in order not to leave him. She found a way to become close to him again even with her new reincarnated body, and she succeeded, but for a while. She expressed her love for him. She then told him that the reason why she avoided any form of romantic activity between them was because such activity will cause her to return to her spirit form, and she was trying to prevent that because she wanted to be with him physically. She expressed her love for the last time and bid him farewell, and the voice from the kitchen stopped. Daniel was shocked and completely terrified with what he had just witnessed, but he was more sad that he had again lost his girlfriend. Several thoughts began running across his mind. Thoughts like he was actually dating his late girlfriend and other heartbreaking thoughts. He crawled to the kitchen, but there was no one there. She was completely gone forever. He cried for hours and he passed out. He woke up on the hospital bed with his close friend Ethan by his side. Ethan later explained that he had come that day after calling Daniel to get an update about his conversation with his girlfriend, but when Daniel was not picking up, he decided to come check Daniel at home to see what went wrong. On getting to Daniel's house, he found Daniel in a state of coma. Daniel had completely passed out. Ethan decided to bring him to the hospital for treatment. Ethan also said that Daniel has been in a state of coma for 2 weeks and that he was glad that he was awake. After a few days, Daniel was discharged. He decided to stay with his close friend for a while till he fully recovers, stating that he could not go back to his house at the time. He had been trying to live fine, although it has not been easy for him. He also said that he often used to see his late girlfriend in his dreams. He said that he wished that he could fully get over it, but he knows that it won't be so easy and it will definitely take time, a long period of time. Thanks for sticking to the end. If you love the video, kindly like, share and subscribe to the channel. Also stick around because our next video will be on reincarnation as well. You can share your original scary stories, true or fictional, and story suggestions to our email address, storesphere07@gmail.com, and thewraithwoodtales@gmail.com. Also check out our sponsor for the video, Gruns. Link in bio. Also you can check out our previous videos. Have a nice day, see you in the next video.